Welcome back to Learn with Chris. I'm Chris. In this video, we're going to continue with building vocabulary. This is the 10th video about building vocabulary, and this will be our third video specifically about suffixes. Today, we're going to look at adjective suffixes, and there are a total of 19 different adjective suffixes for us to look at with examples. So similar format to what I did with the noun suffixes. So just to kind of get everybody on the right page, adjectives are words that we use. They'll go before nouns. I know in a lot of languages, in Thai language, for example, the adjective goes after the noun, but in English it goes before the noun. So it's the adjective and then a noun. And what an adjective does is that it gives you information about the noun. It tells you about the noun. So for example, if you have an example like me, like a man, and then if you want to know more about me or give details about me, then you would use the adjective to describe me. So for example, tall man, old man, handsome man, whatever you want to say, these are adjectives before the noun, right? So 19 adjective suffixes, so there's a lot, almost as much as there are nouns. So there's a lot of adjectives and there are a lot of nouns. Once we get to the verbs and the adverbs, the list of suffixes is going to get a lot smaller. So there's a lot less verb and adverb suffixes, but there's a lot for adjectives. So our first one is able, either A-B-L-E or I-B-L-E. So some examples: comfortable, adaptable, visible, and flexible. So all of these are adjectives. Our next one is al. Remember when we did noun suffixes, there was also al. So we do have to be careful because sometimes there's crossover between the suffix. It could be a noun, it could be an adjective. So al is also a adjective suffix. However, most al words are adjectives. A lot less of them are nouns. So most of the time al will be a adjective suffix. So we have natural, personal, financial, seasonal. These are all adjectives. Our next one is pretty kind of straightforward: full, F-U-L, because it means full of something, right? So for example, helpful, beautiful, meaningful, and careful literally means full of help, full of beauty, full of meaning, and full of care, right? So they're pretty straightforward. And then our next one, less, L-E-S-S, is the opposite. So hopeless, homeless, useless, and fearless means you don't have those things. So you don't have hope, that's hopeless. You don't have a home, you don't have any use or utility, and you don't have fearless. So full and less are opposites to each other. Our fifth example is ick or ical, so I-C or I-C-A-L. So historic, scientific, magical, and technical. So these are all adjectives as well. And then we have ish, I-S-H, which is kind of like acting like or similar to. So for example, childish, foolish, darkish, and boyish. So childish means acting like a child, right? Or foolish means acting like a fool. Darkish means being dark or similar to dark, and boyish means acting like a boy. So for example, childish is perfectly okay if you are a child. But it's not okay if you're not a child, right? So an adult acting childish is a bad thing, right? Because adults are not supposed to act like children. Children are supposed to act like children. So childish is okay if you're a child, but it becomes kind of like an insult if you're an adult, because you're not supposed to act like a child when you are not a child, right? Our next example is ive, I-V-E, so creative, active, effective, and descriptive. Okay, very common. There's a lot of I-V-E adjective suffixes. And then we have O-U-S, but it could be E-O-U-S or I-O-U-S. So for example, dangerous, courageous, mysterious, and curious. Again, quite common, O-U-S, very common adjective suffix. And then we have just Y by itself. Happy, messy, sleepy, windy. So these are all adjectives as well. And then we have ent or int, so A-N-T or E-N-T, important, relevant, dependent, consistent. So again, quite common adjective suffixes. Then we have ari or ori, so A-R-Y or O-R-Y. So necessary, legendary, contradictory, migratory. So migratory is related to the word migrant or to migrate, to move, right? So you're a migratory person if you're moving from one place to another, like refugees. Refugees are migratory because they're moving from one place to another using the root word migrate, to move, right? I-N-E is our 12th one, feminine, masculine, crystalline, and genuine. So this is kind of, most of these are kind of similar to full almost. So feminine mean, or no, not, more like ish actually. So feminine means like female or like a girl, right? And masculine means like a man. So again, masculine characteristics, masculine traits, that kind of thing. So feminine is the female and masculine is the male. Crystalline, of course, is like crystal. Genuine just means to be true or honest, to be a genuine person. Our 13th example is ESE, and mostly this is languages or nationalities. Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Vietnamese. There are some examples where it's not a language, but they're pretty rare. Generally, languages or nationalities. Then we have ATE. Be careful with ATE because ATE could also be a verb suffix. Actually, most verbs are ATE. So this is a very common verb suffix, but it can also be an adjective suffix. So we have passionate, affectionate, fortunate, and ultimate. So these are all adjectives. Then we have EN. This usually means made from. So golden, wooden, woolen, and broken. Broken's a bit different. I'll explain that. So golden means made from gold. It's like a golden ring, for example, a wooden table, a woolen shirt, for example. So made from wool, made from wood, made from gold. Broken is different because broken is actually a phrasal verb where you take the verb break and you turn it into an adjective by adding en or ed in some cases, right? So like a broken computer, for example. And then we have a pretty rare example here, esque, picturesque, statuesque, grotesque, and Romanesque. And this means kind of like. So picturesque means like a picture, statuesque means like a statue, grotesque means really ugly, and Romanesque means like Roman. So you, like, for example, if you had a Romanesque building, that would be a building in the Roman architecture style, like the Roman Empire. Pretty rare adjective. There's not very many words with this adjective. And then we have some, S-O-M-E, awesome, troublesome, worrisome, and fearsome. And our 18th example, ward. This, you got to be careful because it's also used as an adverb. So it's either adjective or adverb, but a little bit different. Upward, forward, backward, and downward. So as adjectives, they have to match with nouns. So for example, you could have a backward look. If you kind of look behind you, that's a backward glance or a backward look. So you're combining it with a, oh, sorry, that's actually a verb, isn't it? Sorry, that's an adverb. I got that wrong. So let me think again about this. Yeah, backward look. No, that would be adverb with a verb. So that's wrong. So let's think for nouns. It would have to be like direction. So for example, movement, forward movement. Yeah, because movement is a noun because it ends in ment, M-E-N-T. So a backward movement, an upward movement, a downward movement, or motion is also a noun. So yes. So when we're using ward for movement, then it would be an adjective. But when we look at the adverbs, we'll see ward again. But that would, for example, a backward glance, that would be adverb plus verb. So be careful about that because I got it wrong myself. And our last one is ERN, which is related with directions. Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern. So like the northern part of your country or a eastern province, like I'm from Eastern Canada, right? So Eastern matching with the noun Canada. So something like that. All right, so that's a total of 19 adjectives, adjective suffixes, and that's it for our video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and have a good day. Bye-bye.